So that's live on YouTube now. So this will be recorded, guys. I know I'm just answering Q&A. I haven't been doing it for like the last, 15, 30 minutes now. But the rest of this will be recorded. It will be posted up on YouTube. You guys will also get that, that framing video. I'll see if I can get that posted up today. Did this go live on YouTube? It should be streaming. Can someone confirm that it's streaming? It's not showing up. It is? Okay. I can't see the chat on it. I don't know why it's not showing up. Okay. Cool. So it's streaming. Let me see if I can get the chat really quick, and then I'll just start going through. I should be live. Why is it not popping up? I found it. I was able to get it. Okay, cool. Okay. How to accept losses and how not to think you're a shit trader after a couple losses or a loss streak, especially if it's all discretion. Yeah, so, I mean, if I think about last year, we even have audio. Yeah, sorry about that, Greg, on the last couple. If I think about the trader I was a year ago, even 6 months ago, those losing days make you feel like shit, bro. They make you feel terrible. But you have to think about where you're headed in the future. You can't just think about you can't think, oh, I'm a shit trader. You have to realize it takes time to figure this out. You can't think that you're a bad trader just because you're on a loss streak or you're taking multiple losses. I mean, hell, September or July through September, I went through that loss streak and I lost my confidence. What did I have to do? I had to rebuild that confidence and rebuild the level of consistency. And now my trading's at a point where I feel much better about my trading than I feel so much better about my trading, better than I ever have. Even though my payouts in October, it was 30,000. In November, it was 10,000. And this month, it's 25,000. So I'm not even hitting those $50,000 months, $60,000 months that I was hitting earlier this year. But I feel so much better about my trading. I'm making less money, but I feel so much better about it. And I just know it's a matter of scaling. So did I feel like a bad trader in July through September? At points, yeah. At points, but I didn't let it get to me. I mean, it did at times, but I had to journal things out and figure out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and overcome that. You're also trying to do too much, Plasma. Like, even in the last trade review, and I didn't do the trade review wasn't recorded. I did still do it. But if I go and look at trade review, where was it? It wasn't this day. You switch things too much, Plasma. Now we're looking at Henkin Aishi candles or whatever these are called. We're now looking at this when we haven't been consistent with order flow or just general candlesticks in general. Like, we're switching too much. We're trying too many things. You have shiny object syndrome. Your shiny object syndrome is the worst I've seen, Plasma. Maybe it's because you're 16 and you're young trading, but you switch up things too much. Why did I switch over to gold? I switched over to gold because I was struggling with NASDAQ. I'd been watching gold here and there, just watching how it moved. I wasn't trading it. I'd previously traded gold, and so I just made the switch back over to that asset. I went through some back testing. So I back tested on NASDAQ and I back tested on GC. And with NASDAQ, I was still struggling in the back testing, and I switched over to gold and I instantly hit a flow state. I was able to tell what the market was doing, where it was going. My analysis was spot on in that back testing session, and I spent like 8 hours in one day back testing it. And I saw good results from it, so I decided to make a full switch. Someone asked in the Discord, I have a 500 DLL, so I make sure that I don't oversize and get a small winner first, then leverage that money to the next trade. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, RJ. You can also use the trailing in Project X. I know that's not available in Tradeovate, but yeah, if you know you have a 500 DLL, you're probably not going to toss a mini on. You're going to take a trade with 3 micros, 5 micros, get some sort of smaller buffer, and then you can add more size on that next trade and start to build it up. How much should a DLL be on a 50K combine? This is a good question. I always get asked this. What should my DLL be on a specific account? You need the data for it. So what I do for my DLLs, if I go through all these stats, where am I seeing my drawdown go to? Okay, this day it's around 1300. This next day, so I just set a DLL of 2K. I hit this DLL. This next day, I saw a drawdown of 1200. This next day, no drawdown, great. This next day, no drawdown, great. This day, I saw a drawdown of 1400. So it's between 1300 and 2K right now. And I'm looking at this day, 2000. Okay, so I moved my DLL away from 2000. I gave it a little bit more room. This day, okay, where does this fall apart? Okay, I hit 3K in drawdown, and then I definitely oversized on this trade and brought it out, which ended up working. Or I just did a banger. Yeah, I just did a banger with 2 minis. This lasted an hour. So I got 13 points on this. No, 20 points. I got 20 points on this trade. With 2 minis, I was initially using 1 because I knew I had a 3800 DLL, so I probably shouldn't have been using 2. But then once I saw the confirmation, right, I added into this after 7 minutes. So this went down to 3K. This day, where did I go down to? 1300. This day, where did this start to fall apart at? $2,300. Where did this day go? Down 600. And this day, no drawdown. This day, $200 a drawdown. This day, 600. So I want to go into my calendar views and I want to see, where does my drawdown start to fall apart? How much drawdown can I see before I'm starting to fall apart? So look at that. Look into your stats. You need the data on it to give yourself a reasonable DLL that makes sense for your stats. If you're using Profitable, there is this risk advisor in here. It's going to pull your stats that you've imported in here. So you can import your stats in here. This is across all my accounts. If I just go and look at these Lucid accounts, the win rate is a little higher and the RR is higher compared to my Tradeify for the last week. But this is going to pull in my stats and I can select, is this a 50K combine? Is this a 150K? How much should I be risking? If I put in a $500 DLL, I need 4 wins to pass, 4 losses till I fail. What's my probability of seeing that loss streak? A 4 loss streak, it's 6%. I'm probably not going to have a 4 win streak in a row, but this will give you a good general assumption of what you should be using. You can also see your contracts. So if it's a 10-point stop loss, which is it's very small. A 10-point stop loss is very small on like 2 NASDAQ. If I bump this up to a 20-point stop loss, it's going to tell me what contract sizing I should be using. So if I want to use a 20-point stop loss, it's going to say, okay, use 5 MES. Use 1 NQ. And again, you should know the futures contract you're trading, how many ticks it's worth, what those point values are. But if I'm using a 20-point stop loss on GC, I think this is going off ticks, because a 20-point stop loss on GC, that would be, oh, it's saying 2 MGC. Okay, so this is saying if I want a 20-point stop loss, use 2 MGC. If I want a 20-point stop loss on NQ, it's $400, so I can use 1 NQ. And that fits inside my $500 of risk. If I tone this down to, and this is per trade, this isn't per day. If I tone it down to 250, what size should I be using? Well, if I have a 20-point stop loss on NQ, I want to be using 5 to 6 MNQ. I want to be using 1 MGC if it's a 20-point stop, but you're not going to have a 20-point stop on MGC. So say 5-point stop. Okay, well, I can use 5 MGC. Okay, so utilize these stats, go into your stats, and check where your drawdown starts to fall apart at. If I go into this day, I had a 2K DLL. I hit that. This day, 5K DLL. I didn't see any profit here, right? Once I hit that 3,300 DLL, I was in drawdown $3,300. Well, look at my size now. I've bumped my size up like crazy. I'm using 10 contracts, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. So use these stats, use this calendar view, click into each day and see, okay, where do I start to fall apart? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Is it $2,000? Is it $2,300? If I go over to my Lucid accounts, all right, I've been pretty consistent here. How much drawdown am I seeing? I'm not seeing that much drawdown because I was using smaller size here. No drawdown here. Seeing a little bit of drawdown down to 800 here, and then I hit a nice trade. Here, do I see any drawdown? No. Do I see any drawdown? No. No drawdown here. How much did I see here? Down 700, ended up 450. That's fine. This day, I didn't have a single positive trade. So here I just fell apart. Like this day, I just fell apart. I had a tilt day. All right, and it's going to happen. This day, how much drawdown did I see? 200. No drawdown. A little bit of drawdown here. 560. 800. And here's 654. So if I'm trading these accounts, right, the firm has given me a DLL of $4,000. That is stupid for me to have a $4,000 DLL. So if I'm trading this account and it's got a consistency target on it, I know that this consistency target's 35%. What should I do? If the max day I have here on this payout cycle, I just took a payout from these accounts. So my new max that I've made is 1,700. Well, I'm going to set my personal daily profit target to 1,700. And I want to liquidate and block because I'm going to be over the consistency target anyway. It's going to make it harder on myself. And this daily loss limit shouldn't be more than $1,500. It's only letting me do 1,200. So here, right, I don't know why it's only letting me do 1,200. But on this account, if I'm at 1,500, I'll just have to keep myself in check on this because 1,200, I want that extra $300 of room. But I shouldn't be losing more than this personal daily profit target on an account that has a consistency target. Okay. Let me read through the Discord chat. By thinking a payout is crazy and the ultimate goal makes it harder to achieve. Yeah, if your goal is to get to payout, you know, you want to get consistent payouts. You want to start actually making money from these prop firms. Like, you need to, like, if you want your shit to look like this, I mean, this is just 2 payout cycles, right? And I should be able to get these to the third. Well, if I want that to happen, what are my requirements in order to get paid out on these accounts? Well, these accounts have 35% consistency. This is why I actually kind of like consistency rule accounts, because you're not gambling for large amounts. 35% consistency rule. So that means I need to make the same amount of money for 3 days. Then the other 2 days, I can just go for the winning day of, I believe it's 150 on these accounts. It might be 200. But with this 35% consistency rule, if I'm green on all 5 days, 3 of those days need to be the same amount, or I can break it up into a 5-day cycle. So let's say I make 1,500 on one day. I make, let's say, 700 the next. I make another 700, and then I make, let's say, 400 plus 400. Am I going to be within the consistency target? So I take my 1,500 and I divide it by, 1,500 and I divide it by 3,700. No, I'm not going to be in the consistency target. So I have to be aware that I need to be reasonable with the most I'm making per day. We lost visual, I can hear but can't see. Not for me, I have visual and audio with no loss. Okay, cool. Let me check the stream really quick. No, it looks good. It's still showing up. Okay. DLL on a 50K. Yeah, so it depends how much you're risking, Tibby. Go through these stats. Check your stats and see what's my drawdown amount. What drawdown am I seeing on a day-to-day basis? And then if you're looking to get consistent, what's an amount you're comfortable with making? If I think about a year ago, I was comfortable making anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a day and locking out after that. So if I'm in that range, define it as a range. If you're inside that range, then you should be locking the account and calling it a day. I'm going to post this up on my IG really quick just to see if we can get some more people in the YouTube. But yeah, give me 2 seconds, guys, while I post this up. And I just want to see if I can get some more people in here, just so we have good questions. And this, if you want to view this back, it will be posted after the live's done. And then I'll have another YouTube video. I'll have another YouTube video up either today or tomorrow. I'll either have a YouTube video up today or tomorrow, and then I'll have that framing trades up probably going into next week. So, lot of good videos coming out. Train High is good to see you on a Saturday. Yes, sir. Thanks for spreading knowledge with us, bro. Of course, bro. I want to help people at the end of the day. So, yeah. Full port news events, 5 accounts can make absolute bankroll. They can. You can also blow those accounts. But if you make bankroll on the news event, you might view that as, let's say you make $10,000 on your news event. If you can't get those winning days, you're probably just going to blow the account. Or if you're looking for that 10K every single day, it's going to instill bad habits, and you're probably going to try to replicate it every single day when you just got lucky on a news event. By thinking, okay, the feeling when you know you are right and you make no money, like how I've been the past 1-2 months. Trade idea and context hit 60% of the time, but the entry is so bad. Okay, so before it was my context was bad and I had decent entries, now it's skewed. Okay, so your context has improved, Plasma. I have been seeing that. Your ideas are more, I've seen your ideas play out more often recently. So what we should be doing there is we should just be trading with less size till you get clear confirmation and then add into it. So you should be trading with like 2 micros, have a really wide stop on it, and just set your TP to where you think it's going to go. And then once you do have that momentum step in, add into the position and adjust your stop in. I'm very confident and convicted in my levels. My entries are bad. Yeah, so size down a bit, have a wider stop, add into it, and then then just look for that level to hit. Have your confirmation not be just like one big seller, because I've seen you do that where you're trying to follow a big seller and you set your stop where that big seller's at. That to me doesn't really make sense. You do want to follow those big sellers, but you want to have those other confirmations. And just because there's a big seller at a certain level doesn't mean price is going to hold there. It could push past there slightly and then fall as that seller defends their position and adds into it. You're not going to see every time you see a big seller, they're not always going to defend it, or a big buyer, they're not always going to defend it. Like, you need to give, they're going to have room on their stops. Think about that. There's going to be room on that position where they want to get out or stay in it. I'm on the same boat. I'm planning to get only at retest now. Yeah, you can also do that. That was the suggestion I had for you, Plasma, earlier this year, was only trade retests. Only trade retests once you're confident in the trends. So if I'm looking at Thursday night's price action, so this is clearly selling off down to the low, tries to break above VWAP, fails. Okay, well, I'm only going to short this. I'm not going to short this here. I'm not going to short this here. I'm not going to short this anywhere except for here. When it comes back up to VWAP and it retests, I have a pretty clearly defined stop in here. And what do I want to see on the order flow? I want to see sellers stepping up, and maybe I'm just taking this back down towards the lows, right? Like something like this. Back towards these lows or back towards this value area high. Either of those is appropriate in my eyes. When this starts to consolidate in here, I don't want to see consolidation down at this second band, so I might just get out down there. And then I'm going to look for the retest again. This comes back up to VWAP. It's consolidating. I can short this again, or I can wait. This starts to sell off, back down below VWAP, comes back up. I can short it here again. Or I can wait for this retest here. I can short it there. So, yeah, that was a recommendation. Am I mainly taking trades at highs and lows and avoiding the middle of the range? Because I found that's where my best trades are. I think I have enough background in trading and enough, like, my context is really on point most of the time. So I will take trades in the middle of the range if I see like there's a clear breakout. Like if I was watching this in Asia on Thursday night, this isn't at the bottom of the range. This is breaking through VWAP with strength. I would take the trade here. I'm fine with taking this trade here as a momentum play back up to those New York highs. Or if I'm looking at here, this isn't at the top of the range, but you get that momentum coming in as it breaks through VWAP. I would short this after that VWAP break. I'm fine with that. I want to target those New York lows. So I'm okay with trading in the middle of the range. Some people don't like to do that. If you just want to trade at the extremes, Alize, and it's working well for you, then keep doing it. Last week I was doing good, but I had so much anxiety about the next day because I had no idea what was going to happen. Thinking I don't really have a strategy, it's all discretionary, but somehow I was able to make profit. Still no confidence whatsoever. Friday I took some L's, and hopefully I can come back this week. Super Drake, okay. Yeah, you posted this in the premium chat. We were talking about this last night. All right, let me scroll up to it. Okay. So you took your first payout. You came from crypto. You're working on 3 accounts right now. Okay. So you're green across the screen on this one main account. This other account, you're still positive on it. You're in a tiny bit of drawdown. You're in $77 of drawdown because there's no buffer built on this yet. And then this other account, you're down $8.15. So what I would do here, you've only taken one payout. Turn off this copy trader, bro. You should not be copy trading if you have one payout. If you have one payout, you have not shown a level of consistency yet. So turn off the copy trader. The first thing I'm going to do is I don't want to trade this account, and I don't want to trade this account. I want to work on this account. So if you are trading Sunday Open tomorrow, this is the account you're going to trade. if you're able to get this out of drawdown, let's say you make $1,000 on Sunday Open, you lock this account. You lock out this account. If you make 500 even, let's say you make 500, because I'm looking at your stats, it looks like you're able to make anywhere from 500 all the way up to 3K. If you make 500 on this account that's in drawdown, lock it. You're still going to have some drawdown on it, but now you've recovered most of it. Then I'm going to step over to this smaller account. I'm going to shoot for a 500 here. Then you're going to step over to this bigger account. Maybe you save this one for New York. So I would just break it up into 3 different accounts, maybe 3 different trading sessions, or just break it into 2. I think 2 trading sessions would be good. That makes sense to me. But don't try to recover that full drawdown in one day. Since after Thanksgiving, the market has remained in a range, risk management is all we need to apply to survive. Yeah, risk management will keep you alive. I mean, DLLs will keep you alive. Like this Tradeify account, I've had this for 2.5 months now. This first week of November, I was traveling during this, and I just traded like a fucking idiot. Like, there was no rhyme or reason to any of the trades I took here. You're just going to see every single day, it's just immediate drawdown, and I'm using too much size. Even on this day, I was green. Like, let's see how much size I was using 3, so nothing crazy. Actually, it was 5, so I did 2, and then I did another 3 on that. But there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm trading this. I was trading off my phone, I was sick, I was traveling, and I was just using way too much size and just being an idiot. So when I came back in to that next week, when I had reviewed over the weekend, I had rebalanced. I hit a 5K day. I hit a 5K day. I hit another 5K day. This account was almost payout eligible. I accidentally left a DLL on here because I was trying to show something for a YouTube video with the trailing feature. And I left this DLL on and it stopped me out. So the trade I would have taken here would have worked out, but I got stopped on it. Then I hit a DLL that Friday, made 5K back, hit 2 more DLLs. Then I recovered it, and then I finally got payout eligible on this day. Then going into that next week, what did I do? Am I using crazy size anymore? No, now I'm just using 1. Now I'm just using one mini contract, just shooting for those $500 days. I did 2 here. Should have probably just kept it to 1. And then this last week, 280, I hit a $1,500 DLL. That's okay. And then 10 MGC here, 10 here, 2 minis here, 2, 2, 1. So I'm just taking quick scalps in here. I'm really just not trying to do anything crazy. And then I did have a tilt day on Friday. I hit a 5K drawdown. I was using too much size in here. I was also trading silver. I'd never traded silver before. So I should have probably brought that DLL in again. But this is why I have multiple accounts and I don't copy trade all of them. So this account's going to take me a few more days to get payout on. I could get this to payout probably by Wednesday because it's a 40% consistency rule. So if I just do like $2,500 days, I could probably get to payout on that. It might take me till Thursday. But then my Lucid accounts, these, I just took a payout on Thursday and Friday on these. And now I just need to go through the cycle again. But I'm not seeing excessive drawdown on these. I just need to keep myself in check. The DLL that the firm sets is too large. But I'm just going to be going for, $1,700 max on these. Ideally, if I'm up 1,000, I'm going to lock the accounts. Love you, man. Love you too, bro. I don't know who you are, Michael Scott, but yeah. The social media aspect too, like I got stopped on the trade idea that you or someone else had, and I know it worked, but I got break even or stopped on it before it plays out. Yeah, you're not giving your stops enough room, bro. So size down a little bit, Plasma. Give your stops some room. Give the market some time to breathe. But yeah, the losses get to you for sure. Meditation or even just thinking about how you can improve at the end of each day is everything. Yeah, again, everyone asks me what turned me profitable. What strategy was it? What was it exactly? It was reflecting at the end of each day and, journaling every single day. and I keep my journal by my trading desk so I can see what did I do well last week, what did I do poorly that previous day. I don't want to do that again. And I personally, my dad died when I was 10, right? I don't need sympathy or pity for that. It happened 15 years ago, 16 years ago, right? Even though it's sad, I need to, what I've personally done is given myself a strong emotional connection to the mistakes that I'm making in trading. So it motivates me to not make them again. So when I write out my journal, at the top of it, I put, would my dad be proud of me? And then I put the good and the bad. What did I do well? What would he be proud of? What did I do poorly? What wouldn't he be proud of? And it's such a strong emotional connection for me that when I see the things on the bad side, do you think I want to do them the next day? No, it's going to piss me off. It's going to make me upset. Do I want to feel upset? Do I want to feel pissed off? No, I don't. So I'm going to stop making those mistakes. If you don't have something similar you can relate to, I hope you guys all have your parents, right? You still have your parents or, you know, your family members. You haven't experienced death yet in your life. It's something shitty. But if you don't have something similar that you can relate to, think of it in terms of who do I want to be a year from now? Would myself 1 year from now be proud? Or maybe you have a significant other that you want to make them proud. Or maybe you want to make your mom proud. Or whatever it is. Or maybe you have kids. Would my kids be proud of me? You have to think in terms of where's that strong emotional connection? Where it's going to motivate me to stop making these mistakes on a day in, day out basis. I see there's more people in the YouTube chat. Just any question you guys want to ask me, just type it in the chat. I'm just going through. I've been on here for 30 minutes on the YouTube stream. I've been on the Discord stream for like an hour or 2 hours now. Meditation or even thinking about how you can improve at the end of each day is greater at the end of each day, every day. Yeah. Jesse, I love the mindset. I used to walk 10K steps and review my training behavior for the day and brings a lot of clarity for the next day, but I'm in Canada, so it's snow everywhere for 6 months, so no walks. Okay, so if you don't have that, RJ, you can go get a gym membership and you can just go on a treadmill or you can bike, right? You can get on a bike. You can do something else that helps clear your mind where you're not thinking about trading. All you're doing is, you know, trying to get your heart rate up or think about something else. Plasma blew 3 combines and 2 XFAs in the past 30 days. Been the lowest I've been in a while, not going to lie. Even though my trade direction idea hit. Plasma, a year ago, so in November, let me just give you guys some context. So in October, I was doing really well. I did 40K in payouts that month. And really quick, do I care about FEGs at all? No, I don't pay attention to FEGs. I don't use any ICT concepts. So Plasma, a year ago, in October, I had $40,000 in payouts that month. I decided to break up with my girlfriend. Things were, you know, they were going well. And then I just kind of ended things because I thought that I needed to limit the distractions in my life. And then going into the start of November, I had 5 XFAs that I made $120,000 in 3 days. And I blew it all in 1 day, right? Because I sized up. I was using 15 minis. I had good buffers on the accounts, but I hit a loss. And then I re-entered on that trade, hit another loss, hit another loss, hit another loss. Didn't change my size at all. Kept the 15 contracts on. I just revenge traded and tilted and blew the accounts up. And then I spiraled for 2 months. I could barely pass combines. Or I'd pass combines and I'd blow them up the next day. And during December, I was at home and, you know, I had a friend group from high school that no longer wanted to be friends with me based off some political opinions, which is fine. But I didn't really have anything to do for a week. So I sat at home for a week and I just reflected on what I want to do going into the next year. Why do you think I started posting content? I started posting content on Instagram because I didn't care if 20 people watched it, 100 people watched it, or 20,000 people watched it. All I wanted to do was record my results and see where I can get more improvement. And then that January, I made $200,000 on 4 Top Step 50K accounts in 3 weeks. So you have to, like, you're at this low point and it sucks, but you have to focus on the things that are going to pull you out of that low point. And you're going to see more low points. You're going to see more low points. Ivan, hello Baron. One question. What would you say the sweet spot to stop trading on a 50K in the 2 scenarios, green day and red day? How would those numbers change if we were on 100K? Thanks. So it's dependent trader to trader. It's going to be dependent trader to trader. What I had done at the start of this live was I was going through my Tradeify stats and I was just clicking through each of these calendar days and seeing where things start to go wrong for me on a red day, right? What drawdown can I see before it tilts me? And so I had a 2K DLL on this account initially. I'm seeing about $1,300 in drawdown. This is a 150K account. This didn't have a buffer on it initially. But I want to go through my days and I want to see what's a reasonable amount of drawdown that I'm seeing before I go positive. So like here it was 14. This other day it was 13. This day I went down to like 2K. So for me, like 2,500 is probably my sweet spot on this like 150K. On the 50Ks, I'd say for me, like if I go over to these Lucid accounts that I have, so I made 1,000 here. Didn't really see too much drawdown. It was like 500. I was fine with that. No drawdown here. Then I saw $800 of drawdown. No drawdown here. No drawdown here. No drawdown here. No drawdown here. But then I had this red day. Okay, I hit $2,300. I'd already taken a payout on these accounts. So if I blew them, I was okay with it because I got my ROI back. But this DLL saved me. When I came in on Sunday night, I only had $900 left in these accounts. I got this $1,400 winning day. It gave me some buffer back. So I did see some drawdown. I saw $200 of drawdown on this. But I would say whatever, like you need to find an area that you're able to consistently make money in. Whether that's $500, $200, $1,000. And go from there. For drawdown wise, I would say look at your stats. If you're using Edgeful, there is this risk calculator. This isn't as nice as a risk calculator as something like Profitable. So Profitable, if you guys don't have this, this is really nice. So I've imported all my trades from Lucid and Tradeify. If I go over to the risk advisor, it's going to pull my direct stats in here. I can select if it's a 50K, a 100K, or a 150K, and then I can define my risk as, let's say 500 on a 150K. Actually, let's bump this up. Let's say 1,200. I want to be risking 1,200 to trade. I trade my combines very aggressively. This is aggressive. And let's go and look at my stop loss. So I'm trading gold. I'm going to use a 5-point stop. The max size I should be using is 2 GC. And this is saying I have 3 losses till failed. So maybe I don't want to have 3 losses. Maybe I want to give myself 5 attempts. So 800. Okay, that's a reasonable loss. I have 5 losses. So I should be using 1 GC here. It's going to change the contract sizing in there. All I know is I'm never trading FOMC again. Yeah, I've kind of stopped trading FOMC. I've traded it too many times. Thanks, Baron. I appreciate you, bro. Of course, bro. Let me know if you have any questions. How do you manage to make good money on a 50K? I have 3 combines in drawdown, and my goal is to draw 15K from the 3. So you want to hit a 5K payout cap. Okay, have you had payouts before, Yan? Perfect. That was really insightful. I'll definitely do that. Thanks a lot. Yeah. If you have specific, let's say you're on a 50K combine. I'm going to set this to $250 of risk. What asset are you trading, Ivan? Let me know in the chat, and I can go through it on this risk advisor if you don't have profitable yet. But this is a great tool. It's got reports like Edgeful. It's got trade zealous stats. It's got live charts as well. Okay. Let me go through Discord chat. Your trade setting don't matter once you're stopped out. Find where you're going wrong and correct it. Yeah, good advice, Jetstein. Yeah, so Plasma, size down. Size down. Use 1 or 2 micros and just give yourself a very wide stop. But I love your videos. They show me that trading is really possible. Thank you, bro. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I have a couple of YouTube videos coming out this week, so yeah. So you trade NQ and ES. I'm assuming you probably have a 20 to 25 point stop on NQ. So if you're using 25 point stop on NQ, the max you should be using is 5 micros. I would assume a 10 points or a 5 point stop on ES. The max you should be using is 1 mini on ES. I would use 10 micros here so you can scale out. If you're using that 250 risk plan, you're going to need 8 wins to pass this. If you bump this up, and this is with 1.5 RR. So if you bump this to 2 RR, you're going to need 6 wins to pass it. 6 wins in a row to pass it. You have 8 losses till you fail it. You're probably not going to get 6 wins in a row, but you know, you can make progress towards that. And you really shouldn't be looking to pass these accounts in 2 days. You should be looking to, unless you've been trading for a while, I don't think you should be shooting for 2-day passes. If you haven't been getting payouts or you haven't been payout eligible yet, you shouldn't be getting paid out. Okay, so Yan, you've never had a payout. You have 3 combines and you're trying to hit a 15K payout. So you're trying to hit the payout cap. That's, in my opinion, it is the wrong approach to take. What I would be doing instead is you should not be copy trading. You should not be using more than 1 account until you get your first payout. You should also, if your eyes are glued to the payout cap of 5K at Top Step, that is a bad mindset to have. I would recommend that you go over to a firm like Lucid, where their payout caps are a little bit smaller, but they're much more attainable. So even though these payout caps are 1,500, I've been trading for 4 years. So I've pulled 15K out of these accounts. I've gone through, it took me 2 times to get funded on these. So I went through 10 evals, and so I spent $700, and I got a 15K return out of these. I should be able to take another 10K in payouts this week off them, but you're trying to rush the process and you're trying to make money very quickly. So I would recommend going over to a firm like Lucid, a firm like Tradeify, or My Funded Futures that have smaller payout caps. So you're not trying to hit this $10,000 buffer and take the biggest payout ever. Your goal right now should be just to get a payout. It doesn't matter the amount. It could be $500. You know, you can make a lot of money copy trading. You can also just start blowing through accounts and making no money. Actually losing money. Wait for retraces Plasma, develop your patience, drop the FOMO. No, I do that, but I try to get them passed quickly in New York, trying to catch momentum, and I get railed. Okay, so stop trying to pass them quickly. Plasma, bring your size down a bit. And you're trying to do too much. Don't put getting your first payout on a throne. You're a trader, making money is the point. Yep. You want to focus on the consistency, Plasma, so you need to, if consistency is your goal, you can't be having shiny object syndrome where you're bouncing between strategies, you're bouncing between order flow, and, you know, now you're using Henkin Aishi candles. Stop it. Stop it, bro. You're 16, so part of that's probably just, you know, puberty hormones and shit. You're probably going crazy. I have a tough time winning trades, but I have several XFAs/funded accounts to 30K plus, but I can't seem to hold a trade. I see quick money and take it. Any advice? Tex, how many contracts are you trading with? You're doing well, bro. 30K in your accounts, that's great. Dude, that is amazing. You have multiple accounts. I don't know if you're copy trading, um, but what I would suggest here is you can now in Top Step X, you can set individualized risk parameters. So if you are copy trading, let's say you've got 5 accounts, what I would do is I would set the personal daily profit targets on micros, usually 5 to 20, copy trading 2. Okay, how many accounts do you have? But I would suggest you set personal daily profit targets on, if you've got 5 accounts, set it on 4 of them. If you've got 3 accounts, set it on 2 of them. So you're locking out those 2 accounts once you hit that profit target of, 1,000 or 1,500 or whatever you're consistent with. So it automatically liquidates and blocks those accounts. And then in that last account, scale out 3 150Ks. Okay, cool. So set on 2 of them, set the personal daily profit target, go look at your stats and see, okay, what am I consistently making day in, day out? If it's a range, just put it in like the middle of that range. If it's, you're in between like $1,000 to $3,000, put it at like 2K or 1,700. And then on that last account, you want to develop the skill of holding runners. So what I would suggest is if you're trading 20 micros, once you hit that first target, you're going to take 15 off and you're going to hold that last 5 as runners. And then I would suggest going up to like the 15-minute time frame and using something, if you're trading NASDAQ, a great condition for momentum trades is going to be above/below your VWAP, your New York VWAP, and then above/below 8 EMA on the 15-minute. So if you're looking at price action just based off these conditions, I'm going to go ahead and slap an EMA on here. We're on the 15-minute. You're going to be able to very clearly identify trends, and it's very easy to adjust your stops based off the 15-minute. And let me turn these bands off on my VWAP because it's just going to get a little too cluttered. And let me get rid of this VWAP. Okay, so this should just be my overnight VWAP. And then, oh wait, that was my EMA. Okay, so you have your EMA. This is a very simple strategy for holding trades and momentum trades. I'm going to make this EMA orange. If you're trading NASDAQ, the 8 EMA on the 15-minute is great. So let's say I got long here off the 15-minute orb. We're now above VWAP and we're above that 8 EMA. I'm just going to trail this off each strong 15-minute candle and just see how much I can squeeze out of this. As this bases out and starts to head higher, I'm going to bring the stop up to the bottom of here and then trail up to that strong 15-minute. Same thing, even in Asia, right? You're below your VWAP, you're below your 8 EMA. You can just trail it here. Here, this isn't like as clean, but on NASDAQ, you will get those clean trends where an 8 EMA works excellent. In Asia, this works great. We never break below it. Same thing here. We never break it above it. The market's been a little bit choppy recently, but when you do have those strong trends, look, we never come below this 8 EMA except right at that New York Open. So this could enable you to hold those trades a little bit longer and look to squeeze more profit out. If you're on gold, I personally like the 12 EMA on the 5-minute. And if you don't know what an EMA is, all it is going to be is it's based off what time frame you're on. It's just your average price for the last, this is an 8 EMA, so the last 8 candles. If I change this to 50, it would be the last 50 candles. So with 15 minutes, this is 2 hours of price action, the average price. If I'm on a 5-minute and I'm using a 12, it's an hour of price action. So like here, you get this really clean trend on NASDAQ. You're above your VWAP, you're above your 8 EMA, you can hold that. You could also, another thing that I like to use personally, let me see if this pulls it up here. But so this is through Profitable. You can find the same stats on Edgeful. You can also just use fibs on TradingView. This is going to give me my IB. So this is my New York IB. It's going to tell me what the percent chance of hitting these extension levels are. And if there's momentum there, what the probability is that extends further. So if it's gone from the 0.1 to the 0.2 extension, if it going from the 0.1 to the 0.2 extension is a 91% chance in bullish conditions for it to hit that 0.2 at some time in the day. From the 0.2 to the 0.3, it's a 90%. 0.3 to the 0.5, it's 85%. And then look how sharp your edge falls off from the 0.5 to the 0.7. But if you do hit that 0.7 and you have high momentum, it's pretty likely you hit that 1.0 extension. I need to get off the 1 minute for sure. Yeah, bro. I only use the 1 minute now to adjust stops. I heard you don't use any ICT concepts. Is it possible to say what concepts you use on a day-to-day basis? Or is that confidential? No. So my main concepts are going to be, these are like the main things that I use on a day-to-day basis. It depends on what asset I'm trading. Some of these things do change. So I use the IB, which is going to be your initial balance. This is a baseline condition. This was defined in the 80s. This is typically 9:30 to 10:30 for ES and Q. I've redefined this, and this is good till like 4 p.m. EST. I've redefined this as I'm just looking at the IB in terms of a start and end time and then a session time. So if I'm on gold, I'm just going to load my saved from here. This is my gold IB, 9 to 10. And my session is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern to 2 a.m. Eastern. Once this loads, it's going to give me a stat on it. So I've redefined it as just a set time and a session time. And this is something that I'll use. So I'll use IB. It can be that standard IB. It can be a redefined IB. VWAP. I always have a VWAP on my chart. Volume profiles. And then this is like the core. This is my core. The IB, VWAP, volume profiles. And then additional. This is going to be stats that I like to pull in. I found these through Profitable or Edgeful initially. Now I'm using Profitable. So a stat like this market session breakout in Asia on GC is really clean. So I want to trade towards one side of New York breaking, but I want to use the core, which is the IB, VWAP, volume profiles, to determine which side to trade towards. Once this loads, it's on 5 years, so let me turn this down to 90. It's lagging. Let me reload this. Okay. Market session breakout, New York and Asia. So I like to trade towards one side of Asia, or one side of New York and Asia with GC. So that's one of the stats I'll use. Then I'll also use fibs. And then I'll also use order flow. So this is like CVD. This is CVD, cumulative volume delta. This is absorption, exhaustion, a number of different things. So I was using Bookmap for that. Now I'm going to be using mostly Profitable. So if I'm looking at like my Profitable chart, I can see, let me blow this up. So I can see, okay, there's some exhaustion, or there's some light absorption up here. Where was it? It was this trade. So where was it? Okay. This was exhaustion. I feel like there was a better screenshot in here. I showed earlier. Okay, yeah, this is it. So I shorted this, right? There was absorption up here previously. You come back up to that level. There's even more buyers up here and they fail. So I want to short that. So that's just additional confirmation. And then I just took that off at 244. But yeah, that's like the basis of my system. And then everything I teach, and then supply and demand zones. I forgot about those. And break of structure with retests. So structure breaks with retest. So this is like everything I teach. So I go through all this: volume VWAP profiles, statistical edge, fibs, high time frame analysis. This is going to be supply demand. Applying volume profiles to it, applying fibs to it. Bookmap CBD. This is more footprints now. And then yeah, but that's like the basis of my system. How to join Discord? Let me get a invite link. Is access available for profitable? Yeah, if you go on the site, it's currently in open beta. So there's two different plans. One has delayed data, but you still get the reports and you get the journaling. I believe you also get the replay mode, which this is excellent. You can go tick by tick on this. There's maintenance going on right now, but you can do real-time tick by tick on the replay feature, and it will also journal your paper trades. So like there's paper trading on this, there's the replay feature, and then there's like you can have a paper trading account on this and it will journal everything for you and give you your win rate, P&L, all that. Plasma, I think you know to wait for the retest too, but you're worried it won't come back and you'll miss out maybe. Yeah, I think you do know that. Isaiah, you've been busy. Building up consistency. Seems good in Discord. I find myself idolizing the charts and knowledge rather than working on myself by focusing on the journey and my overall being outside the charts. Yeah, no, that's what will make you more profitable, Jetsy. I seem less stressed. Yeah, I am less stressed. I'll lock in and focus on consistency. I want this to work out. I'm almost graduated from college and I want trading to work for me. Good mindset to have. I mean, I got to the end of my college degree and I was over, like I didn't want to use it. I didn't want to go get a full-time job, really. So I started figuring out trading. Zeke, you'll be fine, bro. Stop focusing on the payout. Next year is my year where I rinse these firms and scale in after I size down. You don't know if next year is going to be your year where that happens. Plasma, you might need another year to learn. It happens. Smooths out PA. Like I know a lot of your order flow traders use them. Morgan uses them. Okay. Yeah, as long as you go back test it, but don't be switching between multiple. Like if that's your main system now, Henkin Aishi, you want to use them to determine trends and momentum, then stick with them. Don't be flipping between too many things. Gold IB, it's going to be 9:30 to 10:30. I still use the standard IB on GC. I think it works well. It's just you might not have an opportunity every day with it. You can also use the 8:20 to 9:20 IB. That one works well. That one works well up to like 11 a.m. or 12 a.m. So if I go over here, let me see. Do I have the GC standard? No, I don't. Okay. Let me pull it up. So GC standard IB, I want a custom session. I'm going to define this as 8 a.m. till noon. Okay, and then I'm going to set the start time to 8:20. This is when COMEX opens. That's why you're using 8:20. Volume starts to flow in. So if I'm using this report, it's decent. Single break up to noon. So if I'm going to modify this time down to 11, what's the hold rate? What's the return rate? Okay, so this bumped up significantly, so I should only be using this till 11 a.m. Then after that, I want to be using the standard IB, 9:30 to 10:30. VWAP and anchored VWAP as well, yeah. what are my settings for volume profile? They're pretty standard. I just modify. So my volume profile, the only thing I've modified on this is the row size. So the standard row size is 24. This is just, it's too, like, it doesn't give me enough depth on this. So I bumped this up to 75. And then volume area, I keep that at 70. That's the baseline condition. That's what everyone in the industry knows. Value area high, value area low, POC. That's all I do. You could also turn on developing value areas and developing POCs if you want. I find it gets a little cluttered. I might keep these on, but yeah. And then let me just do a dash line. That makes more sense to me. You could do that. What's up, Ratska? Holding trades, I suggest sometimes once you get in trade, go to a higher time frame, 4 hour less fluctuation. Yeah, 15-minute or 1 hour is good for holding trades. I prefer the 15-minute. Do you also live trade on Discord? Yeah, I didn't really live trade too much last week. But yeah, I'll do that in like my premium group 5 times a week. And then Fridays, I might start doing overnight streams because I'm mostly trading Asia now. And then on Fridays, I do free streams. Will I transition to swing trading as I get older? I mean, I do swing trade. I just don't really post about it. But yeah. All right, I've been on here like an hour. Aaron, I appreciate you. Yeah, you'll be good, bro. You'll be good, Plasma. You just need to chill out a little bit. Yeah, I'm mostly trading Asia, so I should probably be doing Asia streams, you know? I might just start, for the rest of the year or like going into the first month next year, I might just do free streams all of like January. How to use volume profile, just looking for high volume, low volume nodes, points of reference. So, I mean, the way I like to view it is, you know, how I anchor these is based off ranges. Some people use sessions, like my roommate Jaron. He's very successful just using session profiles. I'm personally looking at value area highs, value area lows, POCs. And then I'm looking for channels or low volume nodes as well. So like Friday, this was a volume channel. Also, if you're using volume profiles, make sure you click the extend right so you don't have to keep anchoring them out. So if I'm looking at Friday's price action as I'm coming into New York, there's this giant channel in here. So once this falls off this shelf, it's just going to price is just going to cut through this channel very quickly. That would be my expectation. London streams, I've done those a couple times, but usually I'm like sleep deprived and going crazy, Ziki. Yeah. What do you think for me personally switching over to ES from NQ or stick to NQ? Also, I've been trading basically what you trade, just adding the Henkin Ashi. I go wait for 3-minute candle to print. I'm trading the same just for my execution, adding one more confluence to help my patient and waiting for absorption. I think switching to ES, yeah, ES is a little bit slower. You would have to learn the asset. So if you do want to make the switch from NQ to ES, you should not trade NQ you should be trading ES, strictly ES for a month. You shouldn't be looking at NQ anymore. In evaluations, if you're up on the day, now you have larger drawdown, do you risk more? Yeah, I'll also do that when I'm trying to build the buffer in funded accounts. So like if I'm up on the day and let's say it's the first day in my funded account and I'm up $2,000, well, now I have a $4,000 buffer to play with. So I will try to expand on that buffer as much as I can because I know it resets at the end of the day. So I'll get a little bit more aggressive, use maybe a little bit more size if I'm trading in an eval and it's my first day. ESM mornings, GC at night, valid? Yeah, I think it's valid. What's your personal opinion, knowing me? You think switching over will have a positive effect on my trading? You just need to stay consistent with it. So don't switch. Don't jump over to ES and then jump back over to NQ. That's what I would say. Okay. Any last questions, guys? I've been on here for like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Oh, good. Sweet. Home for Asia GC streams. They made. Okay, sweet. All right, I'm gonna hop off, but I will see you guys later. That framing video will get posted up shortly here. There will be another YouTube video as well coming out this either tomorrow or today. What am I playing on Steam? Arc Raiders a lot, but I was about to start Expedition 33. Yeah. You're the man. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. You've helped me out. Glad to hear it, bro. That's all I want to do at the end of the day, is help people. Start playing